Yo, what's going on? In this bonus episode, I'm taking you up to Seattle, where I recently had a chance to visit Brooks HQ. While I was there, I had a chance to interview 4 Brooks athletes, all of whom were recently named to Team USA to run the marathon at World Championships in Tokyo later this year. So in this episode, you'll hear all of those interviews back to back to back. I talked to Erika Kemp, Susanna Sullivan, Jess McClain, and CJ Albertson. I had a chance to talk with each of them about what they're going to be doing to get ready for the heat and humidity of Tokyo in the summer, what shoes that they'll be using to train in and race. And then we end each interview with a little bit of a game called Whose Comment Is That? I had a lot of fun talking with these athletes, and I hope you guys enjoy these conversations.
Erika, it's good to see you here.
Good to see you.
I knew you were coming. I didn't tell you that I was coming. Not that I was keeping a secret, but it just never came up.
Yeah.
But I had a feeling we might be talking because for this trip, we're here because they're showing us Hyperion Elite 5, which I'm very excited about. We'll go for a run in it today. But then I think each person kind of has a different angle. And so like some people are interviewing product people here. I'm interviewing some of the athletes.
Yeah.
And so like Megan was asking me like, well, who do you want to talk to? And I was like, can I have like a list maybe? Or
yeah.
I'm like, but
like who is here this weekend?
But I was like, well, I happened to be looking at the women's rankings for the marathon, and I was like, it's got to be announcement time soon. And I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, Erica, I wonder if Erica's coming. If she is, like, can I speak with her? Because I'm like, if we need to pocket the interview because of the announcement times or whatever, we'll do it. And then the announcement came out, and I saw that you were named, and so I'm super excited.
Thank you.
This is your first marathon Team USA?
It's my first Team USA.
Okay.
Outright.
Okay, cool. So what was it like to get the call? Were you expecting it based on your rankings?
The way the like descending order list for the World Marathon team worked, it went qualified people first. So whoever like hit the standard on like an eligible course. So there were 5 of us. So I knew I was in like the top 5 to go to Tokyo, but they call up the top 3 and then they accept or decline that invitation and then it moves down. I knew at the very least I would be the alternate.
Okay.
So you're like, there's a decent chance I might end up in Tokyo. You never really know like how everyone's feeling, what their fall plans are. So it was like not out of the blue or like a shot in the dark that like I would probably be going this year, but you don't know until you like finally get that like confirmation email that's like, hey, you've qualified. Do you want to compete in September?
And it always feels like that conversation is very rushed. Like
Yes.
it's like almost like a self-destruct message.
Yes.
You know?
Like, congratulations, you have like 24 hours to decide.
Yeah. So like, did you have your answer ahead of time because you saw where you were on the rankings, or did you have to think about it, talk to your coaches? Like, can you walk us through that part?
Yeah, I think immediately after Houston, when I ran as fast as I did and like hit the world standard and saw, you know, top 5, 3 go, we knew there was like a decent shot. So very early on, we were like, if like people decline and you're invited, like that will be our priority for the fall. So the last few months we knew that like if I got that opportunity, I would take it. And then like we had backup racing plans if I didn't make the world team, but this was definitely what we like were planning to do if it shook out.
Okay, so then as you're getting ready, you just ran the mini 10K, and as you're getting ready for that, is that thinking like this will be kind of like recovery from Houston, from ramping up with World Championships in mind?
Yeah, so doing the mini and then doing the upcoming BA 10K because they're shorter and faster and just like so different from the marathon. It's just a great stimulus on the front side of a training block, especially before we really get into like the heavier marathon pace stuff. It's nice to kind of just like get in there and like hurt a lot and just like spin the wheels a little bit before you get really, really tired.
It's not that long until the marathon. It's like 13 weeks, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long of a training block do you normally like to have?
I would say my ideal marathon block is like 8 weeks.
Oh, okay.
I think realistically on the calendar it's probably 10, but those first 2 they're not super intense. It's like fine tuning like your body to make sure you're really good to go for the last 8 weeks, but like a relatively short block. So 13 weeks out, we're kind of in just like a really weird holding pattern of like, you want to get fast, you want to get strong, but you don't want to like be cooked by end of July when you want to peak in mid-September. So that's what the races are for, because it gives you something like fun to do. It's like a hard stimulus, but then you have plenty of recovery time on the backside. So just kind of waiting until those final 8 weeks.
Can we talk about the mini 10K a little bit?
Yeah.
You were there with, it seems like half the elite field was your Brooks teammates.
Yes.
It seemed like it was a lot of fun in that regard.
It was
right?
super fun. Yeah. It's really cool. I mean, Brooks has done an incredible job in the last like 12 months, especially like building out our road roster. And it's just always nice to see, you know, people you're familiar with. We had a great team camp back in January where we like got to meet Emily for the first time, and she's really like dove full into being Team Brooks. And it just like is a super fun kind of camaraderie to have that you like miss when you're post-collegiate and just by yourself in these long road races.
Okay, because like that's something that I wanted to talk more about, because you know you see a lot of talk about like, oh well, these marathoners are on the same team, so they might be working together during this race, and you're like, I don't know, they kind of train in different cities.
Yeah.
They're not under the same coach. Like they may have the same sponsor and they're technically teammates.
Yeah.
But I don't get the sense that that's what's happening with Brooks, at least because there's been seems to be like an influx of new signings, which has been really exciting, especially on the women's side. Like a lot of, I'm like, oh, I know all these names. I've been fans of all these people for such a long time.
Yeah.
And in the footage that I'm seeing, like before the race, after the race, it seems like you guys are having that sense of camaraderie and being on the same team.
Yeah.
How is that coming together?
Yeah, that's honestly a great question, because like it just feels like we've all just gotten really lucky and like the vibes have just been like immaculate. But it is, I think, on Brooks's part intentional. Like they were very intentional in the signings that they brought and the like energy that they were bringing to the team. And this particular like group of women especially, it's just like contagious. Like everyone's racing strategies, like the boldness that everyone's racing with is just like very, very contagious. Everyone is like huge fans of each other, which like sounds a little funny, but also it's like this incredible thing where you're rooting for each other, but you also are like really fierce competitors. And it's just like the perfect energy that you would want in like teammates.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like a good example of that was some of the footage I saw from the mini 10K where it's like, you're there, Susanna Sullivan's there, Emily's there, and you guys are all kind of packed up and running together. I felt like, I'm like, there's good energy here. I like what I'm seeing as a fan of road racing, and I was like, I think they're having a good time. I hope they're having a good time.
Yeah, and like we're all there, like we warmed up together. We all had, you know, like different goals. We're in different parts of our seasons. Emily's hitting the track. She's like getting ready, you know, to run USAs, to run another track 10K. She really wanted to get after it and like get those rankings points from the mini. Susanna's recovered from London, which is like, I ran Houston way back when. So like I am recovered from it, but I also haven't raced since then. So we're all in like different spaces, different goals. But when we were out there racing, it was just really nice because it's always good to just like, you know, have some familiar faces and like watch people get after what they're trying to get after. And it just kind of worked out that Susanna and I were feeling super similarly, coming from like, oh, we need to run a marathon in 13 weeks. So we're like really not in peak 10K shape right now, but also like we're very competitive. So we're not going to like jog it in. So we were like, we're going to send it and go out in like a sub 10 2 mile. Like beyond that, do we have any idea what's going to happen? No. But like the marathon's gritty and we need to be able to like, especially run in those conditions, because it was like upper 60s, super humid. And we're like, Tokyo's going to be a little worse than this. And like, it was just like a really nice experience. Just get in there and kind of grind away in those conditions, like with your teammates.
All right, so speaking of the conditions, I mean, it's going to be hot in Tokyo. It's going to be super humid. Are you doing anything different, like sauna protocol, or like what are you doing to plan for like acclimating yourself?
As it stands right now, I'm praying to the weather gods for a really bad summer. Because like my ideal scenario is just we have a horrific summer in New England, because it can get really hot and really humid, especially like August, which is like the most important like weeks in my build. If August can be horrible, then I don't need to do any extra training.
Okay.
Like if it's 85 degrees and super humid when I'm doing my workouts, you don't also need to like go hit the sauna. Like
Okay.
that was enough. And also that's like my preferred heat training is like outdoors just in those conditions. I just like don't have like the mental fortitude to sit in the sauna that long.
Okay. So I'm to make it about me. I'm going to be
Yeah.
running Sydney, which is
Ooh.
like 2 weeks before
Yeah.
your marathon, and I was like, oh, I'm so bad with summer running. I sat in the sauna for like 10 minutes the other day.
How was that?
I hated it. It was
Yeah.
miserable. It was so gross.
Was it like the longest 10 minutes ever?
It was really long, and then like I felt it like the next day. I felt like I was just
Ooh.
like something weird happened. So I'm like, I don't know if this is for me, or maybe 10 minutes was too long. I need to
Yeah.
build into it. And so everyone that I'm talking to today, I'm like, what are you doing
Yeah.
to get better at dealing with heat? But maybe it'll be bad in Chicago for August.
Yeah,
as well.
Chicago
So
gets pretty
it gets
humid,
pretty bad.
right?
Yeah, it gets humid. I always say it's too hot in the summer and too cold in the winter.
Perfect.
In Chicago. So
If
maybe
you're trying to
it's
heat train.
I'll just run more. I usually like most summers I just avoid I do a lot of trail running because it's like
okay.
you run a little bit,
Yeah.
you take a break, eat some snacks. You know,
You can be on that like river path, full sun exposure,
yeah,
right on the water.
yeah. I guess that's what I'll have to do.
Yeah.
Can we switch up and talk about shoes a little bit?
Sure.
I asked you what shoes you ran in to run in the last time we talked, but I think a couple of new shoes have come out since then. Any changes to what you're running, or just tell me what you're running in like generally these days as you're starting to get ready for your next build?
Yeah, I think my answer has changed. My like go-to trainer is the Launch. I'm
Okay.
like firmly a Launch girl now.
Okay.
My preferred workout shoe is the Hyperion 3,
Okay.
which isn't out yet, but I'm absolutely obsessed with it.
Okay.
And then race day shoe, Hyperion Elite 5.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Very cool. I have the Hyperion Elite 3 on right now. I haven't run in them yet. Just walked around in them
Yeah.
so far. But yeah, I like what I see so far.
Yeah. They're fun.
Okay. Should we get to the game?
Yeah.
All right. The game is called Whose Comment Is It?
Oh,
All right.
gosh.
And so for everyone else, I used their Team USA announcement.
Okay.
But for yours, I did something a little different because I used your relay announcement. So I thought that would make a
Okay.
little bit more sense for you and I talking today. And so on the relay announcement, people commented
Yes.
underneath your post on Instagram. I'll
Okay.
give you 3 names,
Uh-huh.
and then you have to match up who commented what. And I'll give you 3 different comments.
Okay, so you're giving me the 3 names and the 3 comments.
Yeah, but
and
we'll
I'm
do like
matching
one,
them.
we'll do like one comment at a time.
Okay.
Because otherwise, it's a lot of things. To
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
But the 3 people are Stephanie Flippin,
Okay.
then we've got Lindsay Hine,
Uh-huh.
and Matt Chittum.
Okay.
Okay. Who wrote "So pumped"? 3 exclamation points. First episode with @I'm Tiny Reek on the team was super fun. 3 more exclamation points.
Was that Lindsay?
It was Lindsay.
Nice. I was like counting the exclamation points. This feels like Lindsay.
All right. Next one. All caps. Yes. 4 S's.
Stephanie.
No, there's more. There's more. So excited that you are joining us! Exclamation point.
It had to be Stephanie.
No, it was not. It was Matt.
What?
That was Matt Chittum's comment.
That's hilarious. I need to go back and look at that.
Yes.
All caps.
Yeah, just the first word.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
yes. But it was yes. That was Matt.
A lot of energy.
Yes, he always has a lot of energy. And then
Yeah.
so Stephanie's was so happy you're here at I'm Tiny Reek! Exclamation point, heart emoji.
No, yeah,
That's-
yeah.
so that's Stephanie.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Of course.
For taking some time with me today. Yeah, good luck as you get ready for the BAA 10K
Mm-hmm.
and training for Tokyo. I'll be out there.
In Tokyo? Nice.
In one of the main
After
events.
Sydney?
I think I'm going to come home first.
Okay.
Because 2 weeks is a long time to be kind of away.
It is a
so
long
I'm like, I
time.
will come home first, but then I'll be out there to watch the marathons.
Sweet.
So I'll be cheering for you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sweet.
CJ, congratulations on making Team USA for the marathon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, yeah. We're in Seattle. It's pretty beautiful here. And yeah, I'm definitely excited to have made Team USA.
You've been a Brooks athlete for a long time now, and so you've been probably to Seattle a bunch of times.
Not actually that many times. This
Okay.
is maybe like my with Brooks is maybe like my fourth time or so.
Okay.
I came here a lot like in college we had tons of indoor races at the Dempsey. So
Okay.
yeah, I've been to Seattle like a good amount of times now.
Okay. All right. And so, like, when you come here with Brooks, you mentioned before we started filming that it's in the summertime, it's kind of like being in summer camp again. Tell me about what your trips are like here with Brooks and why are they bringing you out?
Yeah, we just do a bunch of different things. When we're in Seattle, I feel like we meet a lot of like the team, like the footwear team, marketing team, apparel team, like all the different teams. I'll be doing some like lab testing, like VO2 max, biomechanical stuff, sweat testing things. So just like a whole bunch of like different things. And there's like so much that like goes into a running brand. Like a lot of times the athletes, we're not even aware of like all this stuff. So we kind of get exposed to that. And then we also do a lot of like content stuff. So just like interviews, headshots, photos, shooting some videos, especially when we have new products coming out, they're like pre-filming some stuff to like, do some campaigns like later when we do a big drop of like the next racing shoe or, what next line of trainers or whatever it is. So, yeah, just a bunch of different stuff. And then also like a large part of it for us as athletes is just like hanging out. I mean, just hanging out with the other like Brooks Pro athletes. And I feel like that's really fun because like most of us that they're bringing on this trip, like we're not a part of a team, so we're just like kind of training solo or like training with our kind of own little groups, but we don't really see each other like that often. So I feel like it's a really fun group. So it's also just like building some like Brooks camaraderie, which I feel like Brooks as a brand, like at least from my perspective, like it's a very good camaraderie type of brand. Like every person I've met in Brooks and like all the athletes are like just very cool people, good vibes. It's like just fun to be around.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, especially as they're building out more of like the road team, even though you guys aren't under the same coach and don't train in the same cities, it seems like they're trying to give you guys that sense of a team. So that way you're not just a bunch of athletes with the same sponsor on the same starting line, but you actually have that team feeling.
Yeah, and it's like as much as you can. I mean, we're always going to be both competitors and, somewhat of like teammates, but it is, I think they have done a good job with that. And like, you feel like I feel like I have like friends and teammates, even though like, technically I'm just like a solo guy, live in my own city, do my own thing. But yeah, it's cool to have that kind of community.
Can we talk about some of your recent races?
Yeah.
So congratulations on Ottawa. You had a really nice result out there. Can you tell me about what went to the decision to run that race?
Yeah, so in Chicago, when I ran Chicago last year, the Ottawa elite coordinator, Steven Anderson, he was there. And we were somewhat joking about it. We were just like talking about Ottawa, and I was like somewhat joking about maybe running the race, but I was gonna do Boston. Like I love Boston. Boston's Boston. It's amazing. So I'm like, I'm doing Boston, but I double a lot, so maybe maybe Ottawa. And then I was like, but I'll have to look at the schedule because I'm coaching, so like coaching track. We usually have our state championships right around then. It's like the end of the semester. But this year, Ottawa was the week after our state meet ended, and it was like our finals week was ending right then. So it just logistically it worked out perfectly. Like, I'm going to be transitioning into vacation. Why not go to Canada and race? Right. And again, I'm used to double, so it sounds normal to me. Boston, and then 5 weeks later when I'm going on vacation, Ottawa. And then I get a break and then can train for World Championships. So it just worked out. It worked out really well logistically. And then Ottawa just it felt like they really wanted me, which is also nice. So it just was like, sure, like let's do it. And then it was an amazing race. It was super fun, beautiful course, beautiful weather. Just like really like. Yeah, just the whole atmosphere was really great, and they had the 10K like national championships the day before, so it's just a really cool weekend, and I was definitely glad that I did it, and we'll probably do it again because
Okay, I mean I think you guys got lucky with the weather this year too, because I think other years it's been really hot in Ottawa, and so weather was good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have minded if it was a little bit warm.
Okay.
Because I do well in that. So competitively, I was like, all right, if it's warm, like, gives me a little bit better shot to win. But the perfect weather also makes it so you can run pretty fast. So yeah, it was perfect weather, ideal to run fast. So yeah, it was really nice.
Okay, so speaking of warm weather, it's going to be hot in Tokyo for the marathon. Last year, getting ready for the trials, you kind of got a lot of attention for your heat acclimation setup. And then I think I saw in an interview after Boston that you had some new things planned for heat training coming up. Do you have any thing that you can share for us yet on terms of what your plans are for getting ready for the heat of Tokyo?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it will be the same, just training in hot and humid conditions that I'm kind of, simulating on my treadmill. And then Fresno's going to be really hot, like we'll get up to like 110. So it's dry heat, so I kind of will do a combo, but of like heat and humidity in the treadmill, just straight up hot outside. But then I also have a good friend that he has access to a heat chamber, like at the university he works at, and he basically runs it. So, and that can be like really dialed in. So like it's an exact temperature, exact humidity. And then I think I'll be able to get like some gadgets and some different things working with Brooks to like do some more testing and kind of fine tune some things. So, yeah, it won't be too much different, but I think we will all have a little bit more, just like a little bit of data and a little bit of like specified testing things to really like fine tune some things and test out some cooling strategies. So in addition to just like the straight up adaptations and getting better by just running in the heat, we're also going to try some different methods to like stay cool that I can be practicing and testing in a kind of controlled environment. So
all right, very cool. I can't wait to see what you come up with.
Yeah.
As part of your training, you're going to be running in a lot of shoes. Can you give us a sense of what you're looking to use, as you get into some of the heavier weeks of your training block, from, your easy runs and your doubles, and then for some of your tougher sessions?
Yeah, I feel like people ask me this a lot just naturally, but I pretty much usually just run almost exclusively in the shoe I'm going to race in. So for
easy runs too?
Yeah, so for a while, like for this whole spring, I was just running in the Hyperion 4 PBs pretty much every day. And then I actually got the Hyperion 6 first round of the prototype. So, and I actually wore that in Ottawa because I liked it so much, and it was great, and it was approved by World Athletic. So I wore that. It was great. And I can't wear that in Ottawa. I mean, in World Championships, because it won't be sold yet. So, yeah, Olympics and World Championships, like you can't wear development shoes. So, so I'll either be wearing the 4 PBs or the 5s. I think after looking at things, I'll probably be wearing the 5s. I just didn't have them, or I hadn't run enough in them yet. And so I'll probably be doing the bulk of my runs in the 5s, in the Elite 5s. But then I just got the Hyperion Max 3s.
Okay. You're wearing them right now?
I'm wearing them. I did my first run in them.
Okay.
I actually really liked them, and they have 2 types of foam, but one of like DNA Gold that will be in the Hyperion Elite 5s. And then another DNA Flash 2. But both of those are good foams, but it felt really good and felt pretty similar to the racing shoe. So I'll probably mix in the Hyperion Max 3s for like some easier runs, especially when I'm pretty sore, because they have I mean, it's a huge shoe. It's like I think a 46 millimeter stack, and
it's pretty tall.
When I was running today, I'm like, my legs aren't even I feel like zero impact. So
Yeah.
I think like Mondays, usually I'll do my long run on Sunday. So like a Monday might be a perfect day for the Max 3s when I'm pretty beat up, and it's like, all right, cool, I can run without even having any impact on the ground. So yeah, I'll probably add these to the rotation, so I'll have 2 shoes instead of 1.
How long of a training block do you like to have? Because I guess does it change if you're going into a first marathon thinking there might be a double, in terms of what you want your build to be? Because we're about 13 weeks out from the marathon now.
13 weeks.
Have you like officially started your training block, or are you about to, like maybe after you get back from this trip? Where are you at now?
Yeah, my training blocks are definitely a lot less structured than I think most pro racers. It really just depends on like the schedule and like the routine of my life. Ideally, like if I can get like 8 good weeks in, like that's usually enough. I mean, and like I'm in shape before that, so it's not like I'm going from like the couch to.
Right.
But yeah, like 8 like really like focused weeks is I think good for me. It's like right now I'm 13 weeks out. I'm starting to get into a block because like I mean I really want to be like really fit going into Worlds. So like I'm like running a good amount now. Like I'm like kind of in training. And then like as it, in a few weeks it'll like really get like dialed in. I'm like, okay, like World Championships is like in 8 to 10 weeks. Like I'm like, I'm like ready. And like there's more excitement I think for the World. So I think I'm mentally in it a little bit earlier. Yeah, and I'm like on summer break. So like I can just devote all my mental energy to training, which is cool. So I think I'll have a little bit longer of a dedicated block than maybe I normally have.
Any thoughts on a double for the fall or one marathon at a time for now?
Yeah, I'll potentially have a double, just kind of waiting back to here. But
Okay, because I think that the consensus was like, well, if anyone's going to do World and still do another fall marathon, it's got to be you.
Yeah, I think I've been doubling a lot now, and I think it just makes sense. I mean, I'm planning on just throwing putting a lot of energy and resources into this training block, like with Worlds, and it's like, you're not gonna run fast. Like you could medal running like 2:10, like it's gonna maybe even slower. It's gonna be probably worse than Doha. Maybe it could be about the same or slightly better, just depends. But it could be worse. So yeah, like I'm gonna be putting a lot into this, and it's like I want to like use all that I want to use that fitness, and like. So double the fun, how
All
two races, yeah.
All right, let's wrap up real quick by playing a game. It's called Whose Comment Is This? And so everyone
Whose comment
is it? So I went to everyone's Instagram. You guys all made like announcements that you've made Team USA, that you'll be running at Worlds. And underneath your post, people commented. I'll give you 3 names. And then we'll go through like one comment at a time. You'll have to guess which of the 3 people commented this.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, the 3 people are Kara Goucher, Erika Kemp, and Emily Infeld. So those are like the 3 people you can choose from.
Okay.
All right, here is the first comment. The first word is in all caps, congrats, and like 7 exclamation points. And then a fire emoji, a high five emoji, and a clapping emoji.
Gosh. I guess I'm supposed to read my comments, huh? I don't know, Erika.
No, it was Emily Infeld.
Oh. It was between them 2.
Okay.
I knew it wasn't Kara.
Okay.
That's the only one I did.
All right. The next comment is party hat emoji, starry-eyed emoji.
Party?
So they're like
That
it's
one
like
was Erika. Yeah, I remember Erika had an emoji. Okay. So that's why and if I say her name every time, I at least get one.
Yeah, you got it on that one. And then so the last one is Kara wrote, "This is amazing!" Exclamation point.
See, I would have got that.
Exclamation
I would have
point.
got that one if
Okay.
you said it first.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
Exclamation. All right, great job.
Okay.
Well, thanks for your time today. Good luck in Tokyo. I'll be out there and I'll be cheering for you.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Susanna. Congratulations on making Team USA.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited about it.
Now, this is not your first Team USA for the marathon. You ran in Budapest.
Yes.
All right, I saw you out there. You had a great first half of the race, if I can say that. Hopefully that's not, I don't mean to embarrass you, but you started out so strong. It was very impressive.
No, I mean, I think the further that I get away from Budapest, the more I realize that it was, I gave everything I had on that day. I came back and we got an MRI the next day, and it turned out that I had a fractured kneecap. And it was hurting the first half when I was leading good chunks of it, but it was really rough the second half. And I'm looking forward to going back to Tokyo and hopefully having kind of a redemption race.
Okay. It was pretty hot that day in Budapest, and by all accounts, it's going to be really hot in Tokyo.
Yeah.
What did you do to get ready for the heat in Budapest?
Well, I train in Northern Virginia, and the DC area, weather-wise, is pretty swampy. We get a lot of heat and humidity. So my coach and I have talked about, just kind of monitoring, making sure that we are getting exposure to the kind of conditions that I'm going to experience in Tokyo. If that means that I need to relocate, then I guess we would consider that. But in the past, we can, if we run in the middle of the day in DC, it's usually upwards of 90% humidity and upwards of 90 degrees. So I think that I'll be prepared for that, hopefully. So I love the heat and humidity, so I'm excited for it.
You recently ran the mini 10K, I spoke with Erika Kemp earlier today, and I was telling her that from a fan's perspective, it looked like the Brooks team was having a lot of fun out there.
Yeah.
Is that how it was for you?
Yeah, it was a blast. Emily Infeld and Erika and I warmed up together, and we were joking around in meetings yesterday that it was the first time that I had coffee before a race. So I was standing on the start line, and I felt like my heart was going to beat out of my chest, and I was just really excited for the race. And then we found each other early, and it was just it was a lot of fun. Legs felt good. It's super early in training, so I didn't really have a lot of expectations for the time, but it was nice that Erika and Emily and I were together for a decent chunk of the 1.5 to 4 miles. So,
Okay.
yeah.
What went into the decision to have coffee before the race?
I kind of accidentally had coffee before the Philadelphia Half Marathon in September. I usually drink tea in the morning, and I was on my warm-up with the intention of having some tea when I got back, and I don't exactly know how it happened, but I dislocated my finger on the warm-up. It's kind of just a freak accident. And so then I was sort of running out of time because I was managing that, and they had some Dunkin' in the elite tent. And so I took a swig of that, and I actually felt pretty good during that race. So I thought, everybody seems to drink coffee before. Let's see what there is about that. And part of it was just wanting to be flexible in racing situations when maybe tea isn't available. How do I react to having coffee? And I felt fantastic in New York, so it might be something I continue to do going forward.
Okay. Do you not take caffeinated gels?
No. Well, sometimes. I take caffeinated gels, but I don't usually have caffeine during the day, like the other days that are not race days. I feel like it gives me a little bit more of a boost on race day when I have it. And if I take a caffeinated gel, it's usually only in a marathon and usually only pretty late in a marathon.
The reason why I was asking about the coffee, it was because you had mentioned in a post that you had gone camping the week of the mini 10K.
Yes.
And I thought, well, maybe that was the reason, is you were a little bit tired from taking some students. Was it
we took our whole
trip?
6th grade.
Okay.
There's a camp. It's about an hour from our school, and they do summer camps all throughout the school year, or all throughout the summer. And so we take all the 6th graders out there, and it was real tent, sleeping bags on the ground, kind of camping, which I hadn't done since I was in Girl Scouts, elementary school kid. So it was an experience, and I feel like as we headed towards it in the months leading up to it, I was getting more and more apprehensive about doing that, and then coming back and running a 10K against a world-class field 2 days later. But I think I got really fortunate in that it all kind of worked out.
Okay, because my daughter is right about that age. She's going to be going on a camping trip in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So I can only imagine. I won't be there. I'm sending her somewhere else to go camping. I can only imagine what that's going to be like as someone that was kind of in charge of the kids that are there. What would you say is harder on the body, like doing the camping for a couple of days or racing the race, as far as recovering from it afterwards?
I would normally say that the camping would be harder, but because the mini was an important race to me and had been on the calendar for months, I had talked with my coach about all the things that I thought I could, kind of controlling the controllables, right? Like you would for a race. I had a cooler in the back of my car. I drove separately because of drug testing. I was allowed to kind of leave the campsite to be at a place with running water and electricity for an hour, which meant that I got to drive separately and I didn't ride the school bus out there with them. But that also meant that I got to bring a cooler with protein, and I had everything. I was not going to leave this camping trip thinking that hydration or nutrition was out of my control, and I scoured REI for the best camping gear I could find, and so I feel like I went into it and successfully controlled the controllables. I got a very bad blister while we were whitewater rafting. So that was one thing I didn't anticipate and was frustrating, but it wasn't an issue during the race. So
Well, that's good to hear.
I feel like there were definitely more potential pitfalls from the camping trip in terms of like how to recovering from it and continuing to train successfully than there are from running a race. But anyway,
Well, you survived.
yeah,
Can we talk about the shoes that you like to run in for a little bit?
yeah.
As you get into kind of the depths of marathon training, what are the shoes that you're going to be reaching for most frequently, from your daily training all the way up to kind of like your big session type of shoes?
So like my daily trainer, kind of like the workhorse shoe that I do most of my miles in, is the Ghost. I really, really love the Ghost. It's super reliable, and I've been wearing that since I signed with Brooks. For like tempo stuff, when I don't want a plated shoe, I really like the Hyperion or sometimes the Launch, just something a little lighter weight than the Ghost. I really like that the Hyperion really feels pretty poppy when I put those on. So I'll do like tempo long runs, or really any kind of tempo work in something a little lighter than the Ghost. For my racing shoe, I've been wearing the HE 4PB, and I love them, but I just got the HE 5s, and I'm super excited to try them. We were looking at some data yesterday that indicated that they have some efficiency advantages to the HE 4PB, and so I'm super excited to try those out this summer, and I haven't decided what I'll wear in Tokyo because I just got the 5s, but I'm kind of leaning towards, emotionally right now, I'm kind of feeling like I'll probably end up in the 5s, but I think certainly for the next race, I think for Peachtree, with it being fairly soon, it's 3 weeks away, I've loved the HE4PB, and so I'll probably race in those, even though I think I'll probably start to train in the HE5s.
And you ran in the 4PBs in Chicago as well,
I did,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Let's end really quick with the game.
Okay.
And so the game is called Whose Comment Is It?
Oh,
And so I
okay.
went to your Instagram.
Oh, dear.
And I went to the Team USA announcement.
Okay.
And in the comments, people said things. I'll give you 3 names.
Okay.
And then you'll have to guess, as I read a comment, which of those 3 names
Okay.
commented this. Your 3 people are Emily Infeld,
Okay.
Kira D'Amato,
Okay.
and Emma Bates.
Okay.
Who wrote clap emoji, clap emoji, clap emoji?
I don't think it was Emily. Not because she wouldn't feel that way, but I'm gonna go with Emma Bates.
It was Emily.
Oh,
She
okay.
wrote the 3
I would have
down.
thought there were hearts in Emily's. Okay, fine. All right.
She came up a lot in this game, and she did put hearts in some other people's comments.
Okay.
Okay, who wrote Wahoo! Exclamation point, what a squad, let's go girls, 3 exclamation points, heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji.
Same 3 choices.
Yeah, well, it's not Emily, but
Well, it's
you're
not
down
Emily,
to
right.
Kira D'Amato and Emma Bates.
Oh dear. I feel like I'm learning to not trust my instincts. So wrong on the first one. Let's go with Kira.
That is correct.
Okay.
It was Kira D'Amato. And so Emma Bates' comment was, let's go ladies, exclamation point, American flag emoji, high five emoji, American flag emoji.
Okay.
So, great
Thanks,
job.
thanks, guys.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Good luck in Tokyo.
Thank
I
you.
can't wait to cheer for you out there. Jess, congratulations on making Team USA. I'm very happy that I get to say that to you in person.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited that you get to say that too.
All right. I mean, I think the first thing that I want to talk about is, can we talk about how you got the call? Because there was an initial team announcement, and then Betsy, for the most wonderful reason,
Yes.
announced that she couldn't compete.
Yeah.
And so then at the same time, there was an announcement that you were going to be taking that spot. Can you walk us through how that went down?
Yeah.
If you're not tired of talking about
No,
it. Okay.
I'm not. So it was basically just over a week ago, in the middle of, I feel like my life is constantly like, not a mess, but there's just always a lot of things going on. My husband and I were actually like 2 days into moving homes.
okay.
And I actually had like a huge crack in my windshield. So I was like leaving our house and the moving situation to go get my windshield replaced. And I get a text from USATF. And I'm like, this is how it would happen, like in the middle of the thick of life. And I gave them a call back. It was a quick text like, hey, if you got a moment, give me a ring. And I'm like, I feel like I might know. This sounds all too familiar. Okay. But yeah, I got on the phone and it was an offer to run on the world team. And my initial gut reaction was like 100% yes, but, wanted to kind of take a few days since I did have that luxury this time around to kind of decide and think through it with my coach and family. And, I was in the middle of trying to figure out whether I was going to do Chicago or New York. So there was just a lot of things I wanted to just quickly and as, expeditiously as I could think through. But ultimately, it was like 100% like a hell yeah for me mentally. I'm so excited. I feel like it's something that I've let go of a little bit in terms of defining my career by. At the end of the day, I'm like, if I don't make an Olympic team or a world's team, of course, that's always the goal. Like, that's what we're working for. But it's not the only thing I'm going to define my career by. And I think Paris was a big learning experience around that. Knowing that there is, at least as a marathoner, there's so many great opportunities and amazing races, and the world majors are so fun. So I've kind of just, instead of holding it so tightly, I kind of like let it go. And it's just funny because it came back around again. And I'm like, I just don't think this is going to keep presenting itself as an opportunity in this way. So it was definitely something that I was excited about pretty immediately.
When you're getting that text for someone to call, can you call me?
Yeah.
Is it the same person that called you to go to Paris?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was like, hey, Jess,
it's
me again.
Oh, God. that was the one thing I'm like, is it the same person or is it like a committee of people? Okay.
No, and the contact that I work with at USATF has been nothing but amazing. Okay. And she has so much going on all the time. And I was appreciative that I got more than, usually it's like a very short window to decide. Right. And I think because of the way Paris unfolded, it was like, okay, you can take a few days. And it's so far out at this point that I think had I got the call in late August or mid-August, I honestly don't know what I would have done, especially if I was prioritizing a world major. But the fact that I got the call in June gives me so much time to plan. And I'm in Phoenix, it's hot. It's honestly like perfect conditions to make Tokyo feel okay. So a lot of things were just in my favor of it going pretty well in Tokyo, to where it wasn't like Paris where I did a really hard 18-mile long run a week before what would have been the marathon race, and not thinking I would ever get the call. And then me getting the call, having to hop on a plane a day later and emergency taper and get off my feet and learn the course and all the things. So this time I'm like, oh, this is great.
It's like 13 weeks to the marathon.
Yes.
Right now, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
And so you mentioned to me earlier that you went on a long run this morning.
I did. I just got done.
But it wasn't exactly part of like marathon training per se.
Yeah.
Like, when is it gonna like in your mind click over?
It's interesting. I am definitely on the shorter, speedier side of things. I usually tap out. I think I've hit like 82 or 84 miles like once in both blocks in the last few go-arounds. But I level off around like 72 to 76 or so miles a week. And I think that lends itself to me being able to like tap into and maintain like the speedier side of training and going, after fast 10K times and the USA team for the 10K, and I ran a 5K this weekend in Portland. And I'd much prefer that to like pure marathon training where I'm not doing a lot of that stuff. So the way I train is, I'll do a bunch of 10K work on the track, likely leading into USAs, but I'll still hit the marathon, like long run quality weekend sessions. But I think once USA's is in the rearview mirror, I'll probably hit a few key marathon workouts, maintain the long runs for a few weeks. But yeah, I'm kind of like a weird case. But my coach, David Roach, is the one being the magician behind the scenes and figuring all that out, because I did not know what I was doing when I was coaching myself. I was just doing a lot of what felt good in the moment, and he has like the long-term vision. Of course, I want to run super well in Tokyo. The goal is to medal, but he's also thinking 2028. So I don't really have to think that far ahead, which is a luxury.
Well, that's what coaches are for.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that 5K that you ran
Sure.
in Portland?
Yeah.
Because I feel like a topic that we always get into whenever we talk is kind of like running and also headspace and how those things work
sure.
well together. And already you're talking about like, and this doesn't just apply to running, but like you had to kind of let that thing you really wanted go a little bit before it could kind of come back to you.
Yeah.
And something that I saw you post, I saw two posts over the weekend on Instagram. One was something you did with Nessa Frazier.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, I mean, I never put it together that you guys would have been teammates. And so like I thought that was really fun.
Yeah.
And a great way to celebrate a friendship. But then also I saw that you ran your first PB in the 5,000.
Yeah,
in a
for
long
outdoors.
time. And I feel like those to me sound like they must be related for you.
Yeah. Ness is, she was in my wedding. We've been the closest of friends since Stanford. It's so funny. We only overlapped for 2 years, but we were joking because it felt like so much longer than that. And then, I went on to watch her have an amazing career at Bowerman when my professional career wasn't going too hot. So it was so fun to have a friend to look up to. And in races, she was somebody that I was gearing off of and emulating, even though I was, her older teammate at Stanford. She's somebody that I've looked up to in terms of her work ethic and her drive. So it was so fun to spend a whole weekend together. We shared a room and it was like old times. We were both in the lobby working on our laptops the day of the race. Got a little flack from a few people. They're like, oh, Stanford girls still doing homework in the lobby. But no, that was so fun. And I had a rough week of life. So we were moving for 5 days, flipping our old unit to get it ready for our new renters. We became landlords the same day that I raced. So it's been a crazy week, but I've come to learn to embrace that. I'm like, we're just going to go race. We're not going to feel good. My warm-up didn't feel great. My strides felt like my legs had cinder blocks attached to the end of them. But I was like, you know what? We're just going to put ourselves in it and not stress about it. Like, there's not much I can change. All I can really control is how I'm going to show up and respond, in the race and let myself go the extra few percent when I don't want to. But it was good. I mean, I think I'm in 5:05 or better shape, so it's tough to not, hit those marks, but you can never not celebrate a PR. And then I knew I had Brooks on the other end of that. So I flew out early the next day to HQ and we've been here hanging out. So it's been a full weekend of running fun.
It seems like you guys have been having fun.
Yeah, it's such a good squad.
Yeah.
And Casey, Casey's here, Klinger, and I think joined, Brooks around the 10 back in San Juan Capistrano. And it's cool to finally get to hang with him. And it's interesting because, we have the Hansons, Amy and Zach are here too from the Hansons, and you've got the Beast here in Seattle. And this group, I think you wouldn't think we would have a group or team identity because we're all kind of floating around and living where we live and have different coaches. But I feel like it feels like a true team. Like when I'm coming to a world major and CJ's there, or, we've got Susanna and Erika and I on the world team. It feels like a team. It for sure does. And I think Brooks has done a great job of meeting us each where we're at in our careers, in our life, but then bringing us together, for weekends like this, to where we do get to finally hang out off the run. I love hanging out on the runs, shakeouts for world majors and things like that, but to actually slow down and spend lunch with each other and a good dinner, and we're going to the Mariners game tonight. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I feel like is noticeable from the outside.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you guys are obviously getting the opportunity to have your photos taken together on the run because Brooks is bringing you guys together.
For sure.
But in other things that I'm seeing, clips of you guys racing together, the way that you guys are interacting in ways that I can see as
Yeah.
someone that's not always at Brooks HQ. It's noticeable, and I think that it's got to be very intentional that someone is putting together at Brooks and making the investment for you guys to have that
For sure.
environment. Is that how it feels?
It's totally how it feels. And even somebody like Alphine, who's been, coming back from like a pretty major surgery, she feels like, to me, like team mom already. Like she goes out of her way to like text at least me, like all the time about, oh, I think you can do this. At Boston, she was at the Hyperion house and she's like, you can get First American, right? And I'm like, Alphine, okay. Like if you say I can, then I'll start thinking that way. And then Des, like she's been a constant mentor for me personally, but the fact that she takes time out of her life now, especially on the other side of like, okay, maybe she's not professional marathoning right now, but she's doing her awesome trail endeavors and all that. But the fact that she's here and wants to be here, and still, be involved, at least with this group on the footwear and, in the apparel meetings, like it's a testament to not only Des's character, but Brooks as a culture and like what they've developed here in terms of like people wanting to stick around and, help cultivate the culture that we have as a group or a team, and then help bring up the next round and generation of amazing athletes. So it's something that I really love. Like the minute I saw Amanda Vestry last year, we were the Hansons, Susanna, Erika, and I were kind of like warming up for the 10K at the trials. And we see Amanda kind of toddle in, and I was like, oh, she's got Brooks spikes. Like, what's going on? And then, she puts on a Brooks kit, and I was like, oh my God, I think she's a Brooks athlete. Like, literally from that moment, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, it's not this like, and I think that's growing in the sport too, that, hey, there's so much room for so many of us. And Amanda running well, like, makes me so excited for Brooks, and Alphine coming back and Des doing her new thing, and Susanna and Erika, tackling their marathons, getting them on this team before I was even on the team. Like that all gives me so much confidence that I'm a part of it.
I mean, it's really cool, and I feel like they've done a really good job building out the team. Not only the atmosphere and like the camaraderie part is tricky, but also like the names that they've been able to put together.
I know, and
it's
M
like,
and Feld, like
all the way down. It's just like, oh, I know all these athletes. I've been following them for a really long time. This is like a really great collection of people to put together.
For sure.
And it's great that it's not just, oh, they all have the same sponsor.
Yeah.
It's like, it is a team in the sense that, it's not like you're not all in the same city, but it definitely has that feeling.
Yeah.
I do want to talk a little bit more about, you mentioned Amanda Vestry, and I have something that reminded me of something. But before that, let's get to shoes.
Okay, let's do it.
Last time we talked.
I know what you're going to say.
Well, before that, though, something else that I just remembered. You mentioned that Alphine said that she thought you could be top American in Boston. And last time we talked, you mentioned that was a goal that you had. And then you were able to do that. So I don't think I had a chance to congratulate you on that.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming to the Alley on the Run pod, too.
Oh, it was great to see you
It
there.
was so good to see you there.
But since that conversation that we had,
Yeah.
some new shoes have come out. Any changes to what you're running in regularly these days?
Yeah, I think my current like steady run, easy run rotations have pretty much been the same. I love the Glycerin 22s, actually. I've probably run in those more than last time we talked. The basic Hyperion model, love those. Launches, I still rotate in. But as far as my like workout shoes, I have been running in the HE5s a lot more. So I know when we talked last, I was like HE4 PBs, ride or dies. But I think part of me was like not giving the HE5s like a fair chance. I think I just love the HE4s or PBs so much that I was comfortable, they were my comfort shoe. But now I've done a ton of the work for this mini track season in the HE5s, and I love them. And then we have some new track LD long distance track spikes that came through, and I absolutely love those. But I have rotated in the Hyperion Maxes. I love these. I actually did my 20 miles in these today. Okay. Part of that is because I did not bring the right shoes for my long run. Thank God Clara packed a fresh pair of these into my my bag. But these are awesome. I feel like I recover so well from hard efforts in these. My body bounces back the next day very, very well. But they look like they've got a ton there, which, they do. But like they're super responsive, and I feel really poppy in them. And I love, love, love these shoes. Yeah, I would say it's pretty much stayed the same. Like I still have my tried and true HE4 PBs that I'll slip on here and there, but the HE5s are definitely more in the rotation than before.
A new player enters the arena.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to race in Tokyo, so I got to figure that out. Got 13 weeks to do that.
All right. Let's wrap up with a game.
Okay.
In the game, it's called. I have to pull up some of my notes. The game is called Whose Comment Is It?
Oh no. Okay.
And so when I'm speaking today with everyone who's made Team USA, and everyone has made their own announcements of making the team, and people comment under that announcement. And by the way, the photo that was used was when you were in the 10K, and also in the shot are Erika and
I know.
Amanda Vestry are
Is
in
that
one
great?
too. So I was like, I was like looking at it, I'm like, this is a fantastic photo. So I'll give you 3 names, and then you have to, and then I'll start giving you comments.
Okay.
You have to guess
Who said what?
who said what.
Okay.
All right. But we'll do one comment at a time.
Will you tell me if there's emojis in the comment?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like that.
All right. Your 3 names are Nessa Frazier,
Okay.
Carrie Tollefson,
Oh.
and Lindsay Hine.
Okay. Oh gosh. Okay.
All right. First one. Go ladies! Exclamation point, exclamation point. Heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji.
Okay. I would think that's either. I might go with Lindsay for that. Lindsay Hine. Or Carrie Tollefson.
It's Carrie
Dang it. Okay. It's Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. The ladies will go.
All right. And then the next one is, can't wait to watch you tear up the streets of Tokyo.
Lindsay.
That was
That was Ness?
That was Ness, yeah.
Dang. Okay. I feel so bad. I haven't read through any of the comments yet. And I love to go through and respond to everybody. Like that's like one of my, I love to do that. But dang it. Okay. Sorry, Ness. Oh my God. I'm so bad at this. Dang it.
And then the last one is
Lindsay.
She just wrote, congrats at Jess Ton, exclamation point, exclamation point. And she also tagged Brooks running.
Oh, cute. Thanks, you guys. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad. I'm blaming it on the 20 miles that I just had. 20-mile brain.
You've got
long run brain.
So that's okay.
Oh, that's a great game, though.
Thanks for playing.
That's so good.
And thanks for taking time to
thank
talk
you
with
so
me today.
much.
I'll be in Tokyo
Awesome.
watching the race, so I can't wait to cheer for you there.
Thank you so much. Can't wait.